Audio check 1 2 1 2.
Is Bino Nation in the building? Put those emojis in the chat.
That's my gang.
Yeah.
Cigar lit, bit thick, champion of the clique. Logic sharp, metaphor slick, never miss a trick. Angryman and blueprint, they just tryna mimic. Standard so high, they can't even scrimmage. OG on the tube, wisdom like a blade. Cut through the noise, every word tailor-made. Analogies, hit like bricks in a array. Built this empire, no handout, self-made. Masculine moves, they tremble when he speaks. Cash flow deep, they drown in his peaks. Big game strong, sharper than critiques. Cigar smoke rising, greatness at its peak. They watch, they learn, they can't comprehend. The angry man standard, where does it end? A paragon of people's chant, no pretend. Logic unmatched, every line he defends. Angry man is standard, king of the stream. Breaking down walls, shattering the dream. Champion the truth, no in between. The only standard, the angry man thing. Metaphors deadly, they stick like glue. Elegies heavy, each one rings true. Champion of the people, no fraud in his crew. Cigar in his hand, like a boss always knew. Voice like thunder, presence so divine. Every lesson drop, sharpening in the mind. Wisdom in his cadence, discipline in his spine. Blueprint of a man that they'll never redefine. Never chase trends, he creates them instead. A leader of leaders, that's why he's ahead. Standing so coldly to doubters and dread. While he builds legacy, brick by brick, thread by thread. Stand tall, stand firm, that's the only decree. Men rise higher when they follow the key. Strength, discipline, honor, the trinity. Everything he speaks turns boys into Rudy man, a standard, king of the stream. Breaking down walls, shattering the dream. Champion of truth, no in between. The only standard, the angry man thing. See, I smoke fade, but the legend remains. A titan in the game with iron in his veins. Blueprint for men, let it echo in your brain. Angry man is standard, remember the name. Angry man is standard.
If we agree with you, then we're black. We love black people. If we find ourselves in opposition to what you say, all of a sudden we hate ourselves and we hate black people. Who died and left you that kind of authority with your opinion? Who? Tell me.
Let them talk, baby. They don't know what we got. I see them running in the streets, chasing after crowns, trying to be the loudest voice in every single town. They say I'm moving backward cause I like to serve my king, but they don't know the peace and the power that you bring. I'll keep your plate hot, I'll keep the house still. I love to be the soft place where you can heal. They call it slavery, I call it devotion. While they drowning in a sea of mixed emotion. If loving you right makes me a pygmy, then baby pick me. I'm exactly where I wanna be. I don't want the headache, I don't want the fight. I just wanna be the one holding you at night. I follow your lead, I let you take control. You got the vision, baby, you got my soul. Call me a pick-me, call me a fool, but I'm the one winning while I'm lying next to you. They brag about being boss, they brag about the grind, but look inside their eyes, tell me what you find. Microwaves, dinners, and a pillow full of tears, trading a family for a couple lonely years. I respect your frame, I respect your mind. Yeah. A masculine love is so hard to find. I ain't competing, I ain't keeping score. You handle the world, I handle the door to your peace. Let the new age girls argue on the net. Let them argue. They haven't found a man that they can trust yet. I'm catering to you, body and soul, playing my position, playing my role. You protect, you provide, I submit, I reside in your kingdom. You got the vision, baby, you got my soul. Oh, call me a pygmy, call me a fool, but I'm waking up happy, lying next to you. Let them stay mad, we'll stay in love. I'm your pygmy forever.
No, chill for what? Who is this nigga?
You said the mask don't fit me, but it's glued to my name. Every headline paints me wicked, 'cause I won't think the same. You see trouble when I walk in, like I set this place on fire. But I just talk like my granddaddy, and it cuts through all your choir. You want me to be the villain, so I'll be there. I'll be there. Not a shadow that you're killing, I'm the storm that's fighting back. I'm not a villain, I'm a super villain. That's a fact. You wrote the script, I'm just living, so I'll be there. I'll be there. You get nervous when I'm smiling, 'cause you know it's not for show. I won't bow to your approval, I'm too grown to play that role. You throw labels like they shackles, try to change what I believe, but your story got a plot hole when I'm the one that's free. You want me to be the villain, so I'll be that. I'll be that. Not a shadow that you're killing, I'm the storm that's fighting back. I'm not a villain, I'm a super villain. That's a fact. You wrote the script, I'm just living, so I'll be that. I'll be that. Call me heartless, call me crazy, call me every name you know. All that talk just turns to power, watch my true colors glow. You want me to be the villain, so I'll be there. Not a shadow that you're killing, I'm the star. Fighting back. I'm not a villain, I'm a super villain. That's a fact. You drew the line, I crossed it grinning, so I'll be there. I'll be there.
You are now rocking with the best. Support the Angry Man. Support the stream.
Yeah. They know my name, they know my word. They still throw dirt. Ha! Yeah. Been a decade in the game, 10 plus in the rain. Been a king from the mud, turned up on them every string. They were lurking on my chat, screenshotting every frame. Took my slang, took my cadence, then pretended we the same. They was praying for my downfall while they copying my blueprint. Yeah. Every topic that I touch, turn the trend, now they abuse it, use it. They be whispering in DMs, plotting on me, try to stop my rise, stop my rise, stop my rise, stop my rise. Try to ice me out the story, still I burn right through the lies. Yeah. I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. Say my name, they can steal my style, never steal my hands. They can throw that dirt, still I rise again. You can hate my goods, but watch me rant. I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. They can twist my words, never twist my stance. Blame me for it all, I just take that chance. Cause they know I'm best, they don't want my shine to last. No, they was flagging every upload, sending shots behind the scenes, posting pictures of my family, trying to crack me at the scene. Drop my name up in the phone, type my address on the site. Thought the fear would make me vanish, told them pussies catch a flight. Every time they build a boycott, I just build another brand. Turn a smear into a slogan, made a movement out to slander. Understand, they be calling me the villain, why they quoting every line. I'm the mirror that they scared of, so they cover up my life. I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. Say my name. They can steal my style, never steal my hands. They can throw that dirt, still I rise again. You can hate my goods, but watch me rain. I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. They can twist my words, never twist my stance. Blame me for it all, I just take that chance. Cause they know I'm best, they don't want my shine to last. Nah. They gon' blame me for the storm, blame me for the rain, blame me cause I said it, just remember we ain't the same. They gon' cry about my tone, but they study every take. You can hate on every move, you can cancel what I made. Nah, I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. Say my name. They can steal my style, never steal my hands. They can throw that dirt, still I rise again. You can hate my goods, but watch me rain. I'm the people's champ, I'm the angry man. They can twist my words, never twist my stance. Blame me for it all, I just take that chance. Cause they know I'm best, they don't want my shine to last. Cause they know I'm best, they don't want my shine to last. Yeah, they know I'm best, and that's why they hate the man.
Radio check 1 2 1 2.
Is Bino Nation in the building? Put those emojis in the chat.
That's my gang.
Yeah.
Son of her raising no delay. This life don't wait, so I'm on my way. Feet hit the pavement, sunrise grinning. Life's a roulette and I'm always spinning. Pocket full of dreams, got the world in my hands. No map, just vibes and none playing plans. Sweat on my brow, running wild through the city. Clock ticking loud, but it ain't that gritty. Spill my soul like ink on a loose leaf. Every breath a moment, no time for grief. Full throttle, no brakes, I'm flying. Every second counts, ain't no denying. Living for the now, future can't wait. No rewind button, I'm on in my face, yeah, yeah. I'm on in my face, I'm on in my face. Heart like a drum, beating fast, no pause. Life's a movie real, I'ma start with no flaws. Cup running over, champagne fizz. Every day's a blessing, yeah, that's the biz. Jumping over hurdle, life's track and field. Every scar story, every wound's healed. Skyline's my ceiling, dreams stretch wide. Riding shotgun with hope, joy by my side. Full throttle, no brakes, I'm flying. Every second counts, ain't no denying. Living for the now, future can't wait. No rewind button, I'm on in my face, yeah, yeah. I'm on in my face, yeah, yeah. Roll the dice, let it ride. Moonlit nights, ocean tide. Every heartbeat, a melody. Life's a stage, I'm the symphony. Slow it down, feel the sound. Breathing deep, feet on the ground. Then a spark, hit a call. One more run, give it all. Full throttle, no brakes, I'm flying. Every second counts, ain't no denying. Living for the now, future can't wait. No rewind button, I'm on in my face, yeah, yeah. No rewind, no regret. Sunset phase, but I ain't done yet, yeah. I'm on in my face, yeah,
What's good, everybody? We back in the building yet again. Welcome back. Shout out to the whole Bino Nation. Y'all already know what time it is. We might have to dive into some 2015 Angryman yet again to tackle this topic, because this topic has remnants of some of the conversations that were had back then, and some of the people I had to go back and forth with when it came to the divester community, because I'm not going to allow people to come to the internet and try to pretend that this ain't what it is. Because they're trying their best to avoid a certain part of the conversation. And me, for one, I'm not going to let them get away with it. I'm not going to let them ignore that part of the conversation, because that part of the conversation was so prevalent and was the centerpiece of their entire ideology. And before anybody tries to say, well, why do we have to talk about that? We got to talk about it, because she was a divester. We got to talk about it, right? But before we get into any of that, y'all already know how we do. We need at least 10 people to participate in the Bino roll call before we get started. So far, we got 4 Binos. We only need 6 more. How do you become a Bino? How do you participate in the Bino roll call? All you have to do is contribute 20 or more in the Cash App or the Super Chat, and you will be part of the Bino roll call. We will read your messages first. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, all you have to do is drop 100 or more. You'll be a sponsor. Your name will go on the ticker, and we will read your message immediately. Y'all already know what time it is. So before we get into this topic, let's see if we can get 20 Binos in the building. And by the way, let me just go ahead and give a little disclaimer, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some folks that do not want to have this conversation. They want to pretend that this is not a reality, right? And don't forget, and by the way, we only need 5 more Binos. Don't forget, anytime we start talking about something like this, you know what usually happens, right?
Here, boy. Here, boy. Come and get it.
You know as well as I do that they coming. You know the Maggles are going to show up. You know the Maggles, the male hyenas, the dishwashers, the Nifnons. You know they're going to come out of the woodwork. You know they're going to come out of the woodwork. So I need every last one of y'all that have wrenches to be on alert and be ready to swat them down as they come in, because they will be showing up. Trust and believe. They will be on it. I don't know if y'all have noticed. Let me see how many of you guys in here noticed. Have you guys noticed that everybody that's online talking about this topic, they're obviously outraged, right? And rightfully so. They should be outraged. And they're talking about how there needs to be justice. They need to figure out what happened to her. And I agree with all of that, right? But do you notice how they are trying their best to tiptoe around the topic? Do y'all notice that? Do y'all notice that they are trying their best to tiptoe around the most important part of the topic, right? There's like a freaking 500-pound gorilla in the room that they're pretending isn't there. Y'all notice this, right? So we need 5 more Binos. We're waiting to see if we get these other 5 Binos. Before we really get into the thick of this conversation, the nitty gritty. Nita said y'all like the stream while y'all at it. You know what's crazy, Nita? I don't even tell people to hit the like button anymore. Because I feel like that should be a given. I feel like anybody watching the stream should just automatically hit the like button. Because that don't cost anything. We got another Bino in the building. Now we only need 4 more. And by the way, to you divestors, you're lucky that to any divestors that's watching this right now, you are so lucky that I am more reserved and more calm now, and I don't really have the desire to go in on y'all the way I used to go in on y'all. Because trust and believe, I would be having a field day. I would be having a field day with this, bro. I would be having a field day with this. Trust and believe. And to whoever that dude was that just came in here, don't come in here asking me no questions. If you don't want to contribute, you don't got to contribute, but don't come in here asking me no goofy questions. Don't come in here asking me no goofy ass questions. Y'all ever notice that? Like, you could be at a free concert, right? So you're at this free concert and there's a bunch of people there. Let's say there's 2,000-3,000 people at this free concert. And right before they get ready to perform, right? Some guy, walks out on the stage and he says, "Hey, we know the concert is free, but it would be wonderful if some of you would actually contribute to the concert. We're trying to reach a goal of XYZ, it's perfectly voluntary, if you can, and you have some people that donate and, they like, sure, I'll donate. And then there's one person in the crowd that don't want to donate nothing. He wants the concert to be purely free. So he wants to get upset with everybody else that's donating. Does that make any sense to y'all? Does that make any sense to y'all? Like, if I say, hey, contribute to the show, if you don't want to contribute, why are you even speaking on the concept of contributions? Just sit your monkey ass back and watch the damn show. Like, it makes no logical sense to me. Matter of fact, no, I'm wrong. It does make sense to me. It's a hater. That's what it is. It's a hater. It's a hater. It's a hater. It's like the type of person that will, walk past the Louis Vuitton store and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're charging that much for a purse." Nigga, if you can't afford to buy it or you don't want it, keep walking. Like, why you gotta make a freaking why you gotta have a whole inquisition because you don't agree with what somebody else is doing? Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. So, yo, we only need 3 more people. We only need 3 more people in the building. But y'all want to know what's funny? You want to know what's hilarious? So back before people started live streaming, right? You had people that were, you had people just doing their pre-recorded videos and stuff. And then people started live streaming. This is before the super chat button. This is before they put the super chat button in, right? So people started live streaming, and there was an issue with the amount of money people were making on their ads and stuff because of the AdSense apocalypse, right? And so when I went live, I was dropping my freaking my PayPal link and asking people to contribute, right? And when I first started doing it, there were people that were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're asking people to contribute to your show. Oh my God, YouTube is supposed to be free." Oh my, like it just, I'm talking about just endlessly, relentlessly. You know what I'm saying? Just, right? Now, here's the interesting thing about it. After a while, everybody started doing it. In fact, wasn't that long after that, YouTube added the super chat button. So to all of you haters that love to jump up here and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're asking for contributions." Apparently, YouTube doesn't have a problem with that, because if they had a problem with it, they would have never put that super chat button in. And that's just real. So what it boils down to, and this is the beautiful thing about YouTube, you can still come and watch. And if you don't feel like contributing, you don't have to. Nobody's twisting your arm. But don't come in here and try to make people who do want to contribute feel some type of way. It's that simple. And I get it. I get it. Some of you that, are not content creators, you see us content creators being able to make money, being able to make large sums of money, and you feel some type of way about it. The only thing I can tell you is get your weight up, not your hate up. If you look at something that we're doing and you're envious of it, go start a channel. Go start a channel and see if people find you interesting enough to contribute to you. But in the meantime, in between time, stop hating on other folks because they're able to uh, capitalize and monetize their intellectual property. Because what I'm doing right here, right now, is no different than what a comedian does. It's no different than what a rapper does. It's no different than what a musician does. It's no different than what a TV star or a movie star does. What's amazing to me is the fact that you believe that people should be on YouTube, which is the biggest entertainment platform in the world at this point, and you don't think they're supposed to get paid for it. That's really weird to me. What other form of entertainment have you ever seen where people didn't get paid? Not to mention the fact, see, I'm different. I think differently. I've been in sales for most of my life, and I just see things differently. The way I see them is this: if somebody's performing, right? Let's say there's a guy standing on the street and he's got his guitar case open on the sidewalk, and he's playing the guitar. And he's playing the hell out of the guitar. In fact, he's playing the guitar so well that it caught your attention and you stopped and stood there and listened because you enjoyed it so much. Now you see other people putting money in the guitar case, right? Guess what? If you enjoyed his music and you didn't put any money in the guitar case, he's not the bum for thinking that you should have contributed to his music. You're the bum for enjoying it and not even throwing some change in the guitar case. That's the reality. You're the bum. The individuals that want to see your show every single day and never once even contribute $1. But that's not surprising, because in this country, we have a problem. We have too many people in this country that have a welfare state of mind. You think you're supposed to get everything for free. And this is the whole reason why back in the day, JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you could do for your country. Because this state of mind of I deserve everything and I don't have to give anything has been taken over America. You feel me? And it's ridiculous. So we only need 3 more people for the Bino roll call. All you have to do is contribute 20 or more, and it is greatly appreciated. And we'll get this road on the show. Shout out to Treese. Treese said, Angry Man, people are taking out second mortgages for Usher and Breezy. I know, which is crazy. Which is crazy. And I don't know why them folks coming here hating on me, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't make nearly what I should be making. Look, here's the funny thing. I'm trying to start the show with 10 people. 10 people, right? It's 800 people watching me right now. And you got people coming in here talking about some, wait a minute, are you saying until you get 10 people, you ain't gonna talk? I've been talking this whole time. Omar said, AM, how do you put the road on the show? That's how you do it. You put the road on the show. You feel me? But yeah, they will look. Let me tell you something. It's one thing I know for certain. If there's one thing I know for certain, people will proclaim that they're broke all the time. All the time, right? I never listen when people are like, man, I'm broke. I'm broke as a joke, man. Do you realize in our culture, right? When it comes to when it comes to our culture, right? Can you tell me the name of the song Call Me a Pick Me you were playing at the beginning of the show, please? That's the name of it. That's the name of the song, Pick Me. That's a song I made with AI. But damn, what was I getting ready to say? Damn it, I forgot what I was getting ready to say. Oh, yeah. So, in our culture, you know what, man, I'm broke. You know what that translates into? In our culture? In our culture, when somebody black says I'm broke, it doesn't mean they don't have any money. What it means is I got some money. I'm just not going to give it to you. That's what it means in our culture. You know how you know when somebody really is broke in our culture? They don't say I'm broke. They say I'm fucked up. That's what they say. That's what they say. Whenever in our culture, whenever somebody ain't got no money for real, and you be like, hey man, I'm thinking about going to the club later. You know what I'm saying? We about to set it off. And the homie ain't got no money. He gonna be like, man, I'm fucked up right now. That's what he gonna say. He not gonna say I'm broke. He not gonna say I'm broke, because in our culture, broke ain't never stopped niggas from doing nothing. The niggas I know that claim they broke, they be going to the beach twice a year. They be getting Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci and Balenciaga, freaking everything, bruh. They be smoking heavy, drinking heavy. You feel me? Pushing a new whip. Like, yo, I swear to God, like every nigga I know that be swearing up and down they broke, they be doing the most when they broke. That's why I don't be trying to hear none of that shit, bruh. I don't be trying, like, y'all can run, like cats can run that hustle on another ninja. I'm bruh. What Sunshine Anderson say? Heard it all before. I done heard it all before, man. I done heard it all before. You feel me? And the only thing Angryman be asking is for a fraction of the support that I should be getting. You know what I'm saying? I'll be asking for a fraction of the support. Not much, you know, just a little taste, just a little trickle. You feel me? Jim John said, it's too much. It's too many jobs. It's too many jobs out here. It's too much work to be broke. And I was always told it was a mind state. Love the show, my brother. No doubt. No doubt, fam. Yeah. In this day and age, look. In this day and age, if you can't get your hands on no paper, we got enough technology to where the technology will tell you how to make the paper. You feel me? The technology will tell you where to go, what to do, and everything else you need to know just in order to get the paper. You feel me? And y'all know I ain't lying.
Bino check. If you're in the building, show your work. Drop 20 on the Super Chat or Cash App.
Yo, shout out to everybody that's helping us set it off early. Shout out to Jacqueline. Yeah, Jacqueline. Didn't think I was going to pronounce it like that, did you?
That's that Bino energy.
Jacqueline said, thanks for your unbiased views and honesty. Supporting the show. Appreciate you. Let's see. Shout out to Lit Studio XLP. He said, appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
That's that Bino energy.
Shout out to Eric in the building.
That's that Bino energy.
And by the way, to everybody asking, the reason why I decided to do it this way, where we just get some support up front, that way I ain't got to keep stopping the show to ask for support. I could just, once we get a few people supporting the show off the rip, I can just cook, and we ain't got to worry about me stopping the show and all of that stuff. Shout out to my man Donnell. He said, what's up, AM, my dudes? Appreciate you, bro.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see who else we got in the building. Shout out to Terry. He said, let's keep it rolling, Bino Nation.
That's that Bino energy.
Appreciate you, bruh. Let's see. Shout out to Sir Politic. Appreciate you, fam.
That's that Bino energy.
Yeah, we about to cook. I'm about to drop this thesis. You feel me? Shout out to Jay Locked In. He says, supporting the show, about to clock in and hit the road. I'll be listening, bro. Appreciate you, fam.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see. Shout out to Terry. He said 20 is the new 5. You got that right.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see. Shout out to my man Floyd in the building. He said, here's something towards a well put together show. God bless you and keep up the great work you are doing. Appreciate you, bro.
That's that Bino energy.
Oh, it's good. Appreciate that compliment, fam. Shout out to Brain Clarity. Finally said early bird gets the angry man word. Salute and blessings, AM. Appreciate you.
That's that Bino energy.
Tell you something else too. When we get the Bino roll call up front, the numbers don't drop. You know why? Because I ain't did the content yet. Funny how that works. Shout out to We Are the People, said you are the best, Angry. Man, I appreciate that. Let's see.
That's that Bino energy.
And shout out to my man Crocodile Tears. He said, been flipping people comments back on them all day.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see who else we got. Shout out to Kendra, said Bino roll call.
That's that Bino energy.
Shout out to Felicia, said Bino Nation, Memphis is cooked. LOL, shaking my head. That's a fact.
That's that Bino energy.
See who else. Shout out to my man Quentin. He said, what up, AM and the Bino Nation? Appreciate you.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see. And then we got, let's see. Then we got the real Squoosh. The real Squoosh said, hey, Angry Man, caught another live. Yay. By the way, I'm going to see Chris Brown. So no breezy negativity. Now cook me some good barbecue. Not the barbecue. Said, I'm loving the show and you're funny too, Angry Man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. So let's get into this topic. Let's get into this topic. Now, before I start giving you guys my spiel on this, let me make it perfectly clear. Let me make it perfectly clear. Oh, shout out to Nisha. Appreciate you. I mean, shout out to Nita. Appreciate you. So, look at this. Look. We don't get that quite often. Sugar Mama says, shout out to you, Angry Man. Real black women love you. I appreciate that. So before I was getting ready to say, before I go into my whole spiel about this, right? I need to make this perfectly clear. I do believe that what happened to this young lady is a tragedy. It is really unfortunate. And it shouldn't have happened, no matter what the circumstances are. Let's just get that out the way. Let's be crystal clear about that. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, well, she got what was coming to her. Like, I'm not one of those people. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you're one of those people, look, no judgment here, because she did say some disparaging, messed up things about black men. So if you're one of the black men that's like, yo, I really don't care. And look, that's your right. And I'm not gonna, so don't get it twisted. I'm just telling you what my opinion is. And in my opinion, I think what happened to her was tragic. And I don't think it should have happened. But that's just my opinion. And I'm not forcing that opinion on anybody. So if you feel some type of way about it and you want to gloat on your channel or you want to gloat in the comments or whatever, hey, look, do what you do. I'm not tripping because I remember a lot of the things that they have said in reference to us. And I'm talking about the divester community, right? But with that being said, we got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. We gotta point out the fallacy of what's going on online right now. So when I look at the conversations that are being had, right? When I look at these conversations, the thing that really disturbs me is the fact that they don't want to deal with the idea that divesting is a failed ideology. It's failed. We cannot, every single time, and they've been doing this going all the way back to when I first came on the YouTube. And it would be one thing if they were just like, you know what? If these women would have just been like, okay, you know what? It's not working with, matter of fact, they shouldn't even be doing that. You feel what I'm saying? Like what they should be doing is this. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. Your dating ideology should not be based on things that are outside of the person's character. In other words, you shouldn't be like, well, I'm only going to date this group of people, or I'm only going to date that group of people. And this group of people, I feel like they did me wrong, so I'm going to go to this group of people. It's goofy, right? So from day one, the way the divestors positioned their argument, right? Because look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I came to the internet not even knowing what a divester was. Like, there's a lot of things that I've been exposed to on the internet that I never dealt with in real life, right? Like, for instance, I've dealt with the light skin jokes in real life, but it was always lighthearted. It wasn't until I came to the internet that I was told I wasn't black. Like, I've never been told that I wasn't black in real life. I've never been called a Mexican. I've never had to deal with those issues, right? So the internet, you know, I was just on a panel the other night, and this one dude, this one of the sorriest, most trifling individuals I've ever seen in my life, told me I was a defect. Said that June is coming, so I'm gonna be burning up in the sun and shit. Like, I've never got sunburn in my life, right? But apparently, because I'm light skinned, the sun is gonna cook me. Like, I don't have no melanin, right? But anyway, but that's the same individual that thinks that men should just have sex with however many women they want to have sex with and not raise the children. That's his ideology, right? But coming to the internet, I came across a lot of things that I never knew I would come across, right? And so when I came across the divester community, I can't say that I was shocked, because it kind of confirmed a theory that I had, right? It confirmed a theory that I had a little bit, right? Because the very first thing, my very first experience with divestors was them saying flat out, they don't want to be with black men, period. You feel me? Their ideology was, why would they be with a bullet bag? Now, some of you might say, what's a bullet bag? That's what divestors call black men. you know, as a, as a quote, what's the best way to put this? It's them trying to use the concept of police brutality to disparage black men. So by calling us bullet bags, they're basically saying that one, we're worthless, and two, people only want to take our lives, right? So that's one thing, right? The other thing that they say is that we're inferior to every other group of men, but specifically white men, right? That's what they say. Many of them say that we as a group of men will never live up to what white men are. You know what I'm saying? Which doesn't really make any sense to me. You know, because I know plenty of white guys, like, and I really don't see any difference in us, all of us as men, outside of the preconceived notions that racism and the history of racism tries to impose on us, right? I don't see any difference in my experience being around men of different races, white men, Latin men. I don't see any difference. The only differences that I see are cultural, and many of those there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of crossover, right? Because I might come across a white guy that likes Wu-Tang Clan. You feel me? But at the same time, I might come across a black guy that likes Coldplay, that likes uh, you know, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of discount the concept that all of us are Americanized. And in America, you're going to have all of these different things that meld together. And, you might have a certain flavor and this person might have a certain flavor. It just is what it is. But there are individuals that want to continue to keep pushing the narrative of racism, right? And in my opinion, one of the most racist groups are the divestors, because they believe in the superiority of white men in comparison to black men, so much so that they believe that the only thing they have to do is get in a relationship with a white guy and all of their problems will be solved. All they have to do is get with a white guy and all of a sudden everything's going to be fixed. And that really doesn't make sense to me, because white guys are really no different than black guys. Some of us are good dudes. Some of us, work and take care of our business. And then some of us ain't shit. And that's both black and white. So it really doesn't make any sense to me. But in analyzing it, I realized that their belief in this sort of twisted ideology comes from hurt, pain, and misguided logic, right? So we all know, and I talked about this before, we all know that the way this country was set up, right? It was set up with white men being at the top. We know this, right? And for a very long time, black men were at the bottom, right? I would argue that in this day and age, the only way you can still view it that way is if you're a racist prick. That's just my opinion. Because in this day and age, you really can look at Americans whether they be black, white, Latino, Asian, whatever. And it's not cut and dry as this group is up here and this group is down here. There are plenty of black guys that are extremely successful, like through the roof successful, right? Just as there are white guys that are extremely successful. And then there are white guys that are poor, that are struggling, that don't got shit. The same way there are black people that are poor and don't got shit, right? So for anyone to still be thinking that way, I would call them a poor, misguided soul, right? Now, what annoys me about this whole thing is right now as we speak, all of these people are online trying their best to talk about this Ashley Janae situation without addressing her ideology that obviously led to her being in that situation and ultimately losing her life. This is a conversation that needs to be had. Now, let me be clear about this, because there's another side of the conversation that's saying, so you got two sides of this conversation. You got the side that I just talked about, which are black women that agree with the divester ideology, and they're tiptoeing around the fact that here you have yet another black girl that got deleted by a white guy. They want to tiptoe around that because it doesn't fit their narrative, right? Their narrative is that black women, the most dangerous place for them to be is with a black man. That's their narrative. They even have some BS statistic that they claim they got from the FBI that black men are deleting black women every 5 hours, which is bullshit. I debunked that shit a while ago, right? But you have that side. But then you have the other side that don't agree with the divestors, and they feel like, well, what'd you think was going to happen? You a black girl that got with a white guy. So they believe that it was inevitable that the white guy was going to take her life simply because he's a white guy. And I would argue that both of these groups are equally racist. Both of these groups are extremely racist, right? But the conversation that's not being had, that no one is really talking about, because everybody loves to latch on to the racial component of it, or, you know, whatever their bias is when it comes to this situation, but they're not talking about the real reason, right? So when I go over to her Instagram page, right? And don't fault me because I haven't done a lot of research on this, but when I go over to her Instagram page, let me pull this up real quick so you guys can see it. When I go over to her Instagram page, I see these photos, you know, photos of her, you know, she's in a bubble bath drinking champagne. She's standing next to a helicopter with some roses. She's, you know, tanning or whatever. Then she's walking up the stairs of this obviously nice house or hotel. She's out on the snow skiing, I guess. You know, she's in Paris, you know, just the highlight reel of her life, right? And when you scroll through, you don't start seeing pictures of this guy until right here, which was about 23 weeks ago. 23 weeks ago. So about what, half a year? Half a year. So I would make the argument that she didn't even know this guy. She barely even knew him, right? She barely knew this guy. So the conversation that really needs to be had is, are divestors, right? Let's see. Ari Nicole with some info. She says she started dating him again. They dated 2 or 3 years ago. Well, see, that's interesting because that means they had a break. That means they had a break. What was the reason for the break? So they started dating again. One of her friends warned her. So here's the question, right? Here's the question. If they dated before, I would want to know how long they dated that first time, right? Because this photo is only 23 weeks. So the missing information that I would need is, one, how long did they date the first time? And what was the reason for the breakup? Okay. What was the reason for the breakup? Now, if I had to guess, right? If I had to guess, I would say, since Ari said it, I gotta take your word for it, Ari, because I'm not going through that TikTok like that. Or the IG like that. But if I had to guess, I would say that they probably dated the first time, had a disagreement, and that was the reason they broke up. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But regardless, the question that we need to have, the conversation that needs to be had is this. When it comes to the divestors or any of the women who think like the divestors that may not call themselves divestors, but they have this idea in their head that white men are better than black men. The question is, are you ignoring red flags because of this stupid ass belief that one group of men can be better than another group of men simply because of their skin tone? That's the question. This is really what I don't see too many people deep diving into. Right? This is the question. Are you so enamored with the concept and the idea of the social status of white men that you're just completely ignoring red flags? Because I can tell you right now, like any dude that's a piece of shit is going to be a piece of shit regardless of what his skin tone is, regardless of what his race is. Okay? Being a piece of shit is not determined by your race. In fact, being a piece of shit comes in every race, every color, every continent, every country, every city. Because then we have to ask the other question. And this is the question that I don't think too many people have asked, but I'm going to ask it. You guys ready for it? I'm going to ask this question because this question makes so much sense to me. Do you really like white men? Are you really in love with white men? Or are you just using them for their status, for their money, and as a tool to spite black men? That's the question. Because guess what? And I'm not justifying anything, but I don't think a guy would take too kindly to figuring out that, oh, you really don't love me, do you? You really not into me, are you? You just here for the benefits. You just here for the benefits. Right? I mean, think about that. Wouldn't that set off like, let's say for argument's sake that a dude already had mental issues or anger management issues. Don't you think that would set him off? Because if it's one thing I know for a fact, if I don't know nothing else, there's one thing I know for a fact. If you get into an argument with a black woman, she's going to tell you what she really think about you. If you get into an argument with a black woman, she's going to tell you what she really thinks about you. In fact, she's going to tell you the worst thing as it pertains to her opinion. Because she's trying her best to destroy your ego. She's trying her best to hurt your feelings. Right? Now, the only thing about that is when you do that to a man, all men are not the same. When it comes to that, when it comes to you trying to go for the jugular, when it comes to a man's ego, all men ain't the same. Some men, that shit will roll off of their back like water off of duck's back. But other men, they will spend the rest of their life trying their best to destroy you. Like real shit. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's an update. And this is the update. The engagement ring wasn't on her finger. They're saying that the engagement ring was in their rental car and it had blood on it. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think. This is what my personal opinion is. First of all, we're dealing with a white guy that's a multi-millionaire, right? And the one thing I know about rich guys, they tend to get what they want. And the only thing that pisses off a rich guy more than anything is not being able to get what he wants, right? It's access or options, right? What I think happened is, and this is just me doing my angry Columbo, and I could be wrong, whatever, right? There's a couple of things I think that could have happened. Because they said this happened the same day of the proposal. They say that it either started at dinner or they overheard them in the villa arguing, right? There's two things that could have happened. Number one, they could have been having a conversation about what they want to do in the future. In other words, they just had an engagement and now they're talking about getting married, and now they're talking about the things they want to do. And she may have said a bunch of shit he didn't agree with. And who knows what that shit is? She may have said some shit, because let's be real, an argument can happen fast between a couple. You know, she may have wanted to do this or that or whatever, and he may have been like, nah, I don't believe in that. You know, it could have been an argument about how many kids they want to have, or where they're going to live, or, you know, how it could be any number of things. Any number of things, right? And they could have gotten into an argument, and in the midst of that argument, she did the typical black woman thing, which is, you ain't gonna win this argument. You ain't gonna win this argument. In fact, I'm gonna show you ain't gonna win this argument. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you ain't gonna win this argument. And said some really messed up shit. Now, here's the other thing, and my bad, I forgot. There's one other thing too. So there's really three things, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing that I believe would create this type of argument is a confession, either from her or from him, right? What could the confession be? So they either got into an argument over future plans, some shit that he didn't agree with, and they got into an argument and he pulled rank and said, nah, we gonna do XYZ. And then she was like, oh, who you think you talking to? And did the typical black woman thing and just went all the way in, and it pissed him off to the point where he just did what? And you know, you get that result, right? Or he confessed some shit, or she confessed some shit. He could have confessed, and I've heard rumors about this. He could have confessed that she's not the first woman that he's brought to that villa, to that bungalow, right? So it could have started an argument where it's like, wait a minute, did you really just bring me to the spot you bring all your hoes to propose to me? Wait a minute, how many hoes have you brought here? Well, that's neither here nor there. No, it is here or there. How many hoes did you bring here? Right? That could have started it. That could have started the argument. So that's number two. Or number three, he may have wanted to go into the relationship, into the marriage with a clean conscience. She may have told him, you know, now that we're going to get married, I got to be honest about something. What's that? I used to sell this box. Huh, what? What? You what? You used to what? What? Yeah. 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 And in the moment he heard that, you feel me? Like, it could be any number of things. But if I had to guess, it would be those three things. It would be one of those three things. It would be one of those three things. Either they had a disagreement and he pulled rank and she went deep on his ego and he snapped out, or he confessed to bringing other broads to that villa. She started going in on him and started throwing stuff and attacking, and he choked the shit out of her. Or she confessed to some diabolical shit that he don't agree with, and he snapped out and choked her. Like, it's one of those three things, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, right? It's one of those three things. But regardless of what the thing is, the thing that I know in my heart of hearts is that either disagreement ended with his hands around her neck. That's just my opinion. Now, I can't prove that, but that's what I think, right? Now, like I said in my video that I posted earlier, the way they claim they found her is that she was hanging from the freaking the wardrobe. Now, for those of you that don't know what a wardrobe is, let me see if I can pull up a picture of it, right? So a wardrobe is like a cabinet. It's like a cabinet that has, like, you put clothes in it, right? You put clothes in it. You feel me? Let me see. Let's see. This right here is a wardrobe, right? It's got little handles in the front or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. And a lot of them are heavy. A lot of them are really heavy, right? So I think the way they're describing it is she tied something around her neck and tied it around the handle and sat down, right? Now, to everybody from the community, how many of y'all remember The Wire? How many of y'all remember D'Angelo Barksdale supposedly tying his belt around his neck, tying it on a doorknob, and sitting down, and how ridiculous everybody thought that was? Right? I don't think I've ever heard of anybody successfully hanging themselves that way. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Now, this is what they said. This is what they said, right? This is what they said. What they said was, when they found her, she was still conscious, right? But she was hanging. But she was still conscious. You know what that sounds like to me? And this is me really putting my, I don't got my cigar, but this is me really putting my angry Columbo on, right? You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like somebody choked the shit out of her until she was unconscious, but didn't choke her enough for her to be deceased. And putting the whatever around her neck and sitting her down from the and tying it to the wardrobe and sitting her down was enough to cut off some more oxygen, which is why when they found her, she was still breathing, but ultimately passed away later. That's what I think. I think somebody choked the shit out of her, but because they was in a rush and because of the panic of it, they didn't check to see if she was gone. But they wanted to stage it. You know, they thought she was already gone. And so they went ahead and tied the thing and did all of that. It's the same thing as The Wire, in my opinion. Only difference was dude that got D'Angelo, he finished the job. Because you remember, he did what he did, and then he tied it to the thing and made it look like. That's what I think happened, in my personal opinion. That's what I think happened. You feel me? That's what I think happened. But again, we have to go back. We have to go back because the question that I want to ask is this. How much do you individuals that are divestors, how much do you hate yourself and your own group of people that you would look past red flags just to be with somebody that doesn't look like you? Now, keep in mind, I'm not a purist. I'm not a person that's saying, oh, you should only date people that look like you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how much do you have to hate yourself that you will ignore red flags just to be with someone simply because they don't look like you? See, this is the conversation that they're not having online. This is the conversation that they refuse to deal with. This is the conversation they refuse to deal with. Because look, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you this photo. And once I show you this photo, I want you to tell me, is the conversation that they're having, all of the women online, would the conversation be different if this is the case? Is the conversation different now? If the guy looked like that, would we be having a different conversation right now? That's my question. That's my question. Would the conversation be different? I believe it would. I believe it would. I believe, see, right now, the conversation is about seeking justice. That's what the conversation is about. Right now, because we're dealing with this situation, the conversation is about seeking justice. The conversation is about, we need to find out what happened. We need to find out who did this. You know, There's a whole lot of consideration that's being spread around. It's like, well, allegedly, and we believe that he could have possibly did it, but we don't know it for a fact. We don't know for a fact. We just want justice. We need justice for this young lady. If the dude that was with her when this happened looked like this, the conversation wouldn't be about none of that. If the dude that was in Africa with her when this happened looked like this, the conversation would not be what it is right now. The conversation wouldn't be about getting justice for her. They would want justice, but the conversation wouldn't be about that. The conversation wouldn't be about, well, we don't know if he did it. You know what the conversation would be about? How sorry black men are. That's what the conversation would be about. The conversation would be about how sorry black men are. The conversation would be about how violent black men are. The conversation would be about the fact that that is the most dangerous place for a black woman to be, is in the presence, in a relationship with a black man. In other words, if that dude were black, not only would they condemn him without any proof, they would not be giving him the benefit of the doubt as some of these individuals are. They would already have him convicted in their mind. And see, this is what's crazy about this, right? What's crazy about this is when it comes to this guy, not all of them, they're not even sure in their mind if he did it. And I'm talking about the people that are coming online talking about this. There are a lot of individuals that aren't even sure that he did it. There are some individuals that are starting to believe the story that she took her own life. So this conversation is not going to be about what white men do to black women, because they haven't even dealt with the fact of whether or not this particular white man did something to her. But what I'm telling you is that if the guy she was in a relationship with looked like this, they would have already decided that he did it. And they would have moved past that because they've already convicted him mentally. The court of public opinion has already convicted that guy, and now they're on to all of us. So this would be about what black men do to black women. And I guarantee you that on panels on YouTube, the women that come up there, they're not going to be like, well, I don't know if this guy did this or not. And well, if he did do it, he should be brought to justice and he should be prosecuted. If it was a black guy, you know what them conversations would be like on them panels? See, that's the problem with y'all. That's why we don't want to be around y'all. Are you getting it? Do you see what I'm saying? Even if they find proof that this gentleman did that shit, they are only going to talk about him. They're not going to make the illogical leap to put this on all white men. But if that were a black man and they found out that he did that shit definitely, they will make the illogical leap to blame all of us for that one dude's actions. And you know how I know that? Because when it comes to divestors, that's the entire reason they're divesting, because they blame all of us for the shitty relationships they had with individual black men. That's their entire ideology. There's with 5 shitty black men. So now all black men are raggedy. All black men ain't hitting on 2 cents. Right? But guess what? This guy right here, if we find out that he did this shit, do you think that's going to stop them? Do you think they're going to blame all white guys for that shit? Hell no, because it don't make sense. It don't make sense to blame all white guys for that one guy's actions. And they're not going to do it. But when it comes to us, the moment Jermaine screws up, we gonna blame all black men for that shit. We gonna blame all brothers for that shit. How dare you? How dare you? Y'all are the reason that we divested from Blackistan. Am I lying? Am I lying? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But see, they're not going to have that conversation because they don't want to dive into that. And the reason why they don't want to dive into that is because the specific black women that follow this thought process and follow this ideology, they do not want to acknowledge the fact that they have psychological issues. They don't want to acknowledge the fact. See, this is really what it boils down to. What it boils down to is this. When you see a specific group of these women saying that they're divesting, they're not divesting. What they're doing is they're trying to escape their own bullshit. Because when you have a failed relationship, the first place that you have to look is in the mirror. They never do this. Okay? So what ends up happening, right? What ends up happening is they're in these they're in these relationships with black men, right? One after another, these bad relationships. So let's say they were in 10 relationships, all of the relationships failed. They take that as, oh, all 10 of these relationships were with black men, so that must mean that black men are bad. Now, this is ridiculous because 10 black men cannot be representative of all black men. That's just ridiculous, right? But this is what they think. Okay. So they say, okay, well, I'm never going to date black men again. I'm only going to date white men. Right. But here's the problem. There's an old saying, no matter where you go, there you are. It never occurs to them that the reason you got with that first black man that won't hitting on shit and it failed wasn't because he wasn't hitting on shit. It wasn't just because of him. That was part of it. But part of it was you too. And then when you got with the second guy, that shit failed too. You want to know why? Because you attracted the same guy as the first guy. You keep attracting the same guy over and over again because what you attract is representative of what you are. So if you attracted somebody that wasn't hitting on shit, it means that in that moment, you weren't hitting on shit either. It isn't until you decide to fix whatever shit you got going on that you will stop attracting people that ain't shit. And this is the reason why when you notice these women that fit this category, even when they leave Blackistan to get with a man of another race, usually a white guy, they still end up having the same problems because it ain't the guy, it's you. It's you. It's you. And I believe personally, those of you that fit this mold, I believe that you know it's you. But you think you found the cheat code. Because you'll sit back and you'll say, well, you know, white guys have a different temperament. White guys have more success because we're in America, you know, because there's no other group of like, yo, some of the most racist people in this world are black women. I hate to have to say that, but it's the truth. They believe all of this racial crap that you know, that has been propagated. Like it's not true. A white guy's not going to automatically be successful just because he's white. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? But they believe this. So they think that when they get with the white guy, his different temperament and his propensity for success and money is going to cover up your bullshit. It's not going to cover up your bullshit. In fact, if I'm just keeping it all the way funky, because that's what you're trying to do. You think you can hide your bullshit in money and success and trips and Louis Vuitton, and that's not going to hide nothing, baby girl. You're going to be the same shitty woman with a rich guy that you was with Pookie that didn't have two nickels to rub together. The two of you are just able to distract yourself from the bullshit for a little while with the trips and the money and the cars and the designer clothes. That's just a temporary distraction. Because eventually, when you've bought everything that you can buy, when you have every piece of designer clothing and you went on every trip, eventually the two of you are going to have to deal with each other on an intellectual level. And that's when that shitty person that you are that failed in all them other relationships is going to come out. And I'm not saying that those guys weren't raggedy, but you contributed to that raggedy relationship. It wasn't just them. You were part of that. And here's the painful truth. And ain't nobody gonna say this, but I'll say it. I'll say it. There is one fundamental difference between black men and white men. There's one fundamental difference. And I got to point this out. And I'm going to say it. When you black women who are divestors get into relationships with white guys, you're not going to be able to pull the same bullshit with those white guys that you pull with black men. This should be obvious. And some of you are going to try to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to say it because it needs to be said because it's the damn truth. The reality is, black women, y'all tend to get away with beating up on black men, disparaging black men, disrespecting black men. Black men tolerate a lot of y'all shit. And the reason why they tolerate a lot of y'all shit is because they're used to dealing with it. They most of them were raised by their mamas, and their mamas did the same thing. Their mamas talked to them crazy. Their mamas disrespected them. They was disciplined by their mamas. So they're used to that shit. So you can miss me with the brothers is the most dangerous. No, bullshit. Brothers put up with a lot when it comes to y'all. When you do see a brother go that extra mile and do something violent, he been putting up with that shit for a while. That's just the truth. But when you dealing with white men, they don't have the same temperament as brothers. You're not going to just talk crazy to them, disrespect them, and do all that extra shit that you used to doing with the brothers. They're not going to deal with it the same. They're not going to deal with it the same. They're not going to deal with it the same. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. They're not going to put up with that crap. They're not going to put up with it at all. At all. And I know you want to say that's not true. That okay. 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 You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that, because here's the thing. Part of the reason y'all get away with so much of that shit with the brothers is because a lot of the brothers are scared of the police. White guys ain't scared of the police. They're not scared of the police. And look, y'all can disagree with me all day if you want to. Y'all can disagree with me all day if you want to. But it's the truth. They're not scared of the police. They don't have the same relationship with the police that brothers have with the police. They don't have the same relationship. And look, I'm not saying that cops don't brutalize white guys. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? But again, culture, that's one of the cultural differences. That's one of the cultural differences. One of the cultural differences. Look, we joke about this. You'll see videos and TV shows and stuff where, white kid be cursing his mama out, talking shit to her, right? You don't see that typically in black households. In black households, the boys are scared of their mamas. They would never disrespect their mama because they know their mama gonna come in there and try to take their head off their shoulders, right? Now, because of this cultural difference, that shapes and molds men in a different way, right? And I told y'all this. I told y'all when it comes to black men and other groups of men, we're drastically different. When it comes to other groups of men view all of the women in their life like their daughters, in the sense that they view the women in their life as they are the authority figure over them. Right? So for other groups of men, all of the women in their life are their daughters. When it comes to hierarchy, when it comes to black men, all of the women in a black man's life is like his mama when it comes to hierarchy. I can show you videos of black men being talked to by their daughters like the daughter is their mama. I can show it to you. And now that I've pointed it out, you're going to start noticing it too. There are videos you can find online where you'll see a little girl talking to her father like she's an authority figure. When it comes to black men, every woman in his life talks to him as if they are an authority figure over him. His daughters, his wife, his mama, his aunties, his girl cousins, random black women in general. That's the cultural dynamic. And to all the black women that don't believe what I'm saying, this is the reason why you're complaining about protection. This is the reason why this is the reason why you're complaining. The reason your men do not protect you the way other groups of men protect their women is because why would they need to protect someone who is above them? Men protect what is below them on the hierarchy. A man is not going to protect another man that's stronger than him, higher up the food chain, bigger than him, because he can protect himself. Right? But a man will protect what is beneath him. And when I say beneath, I mean as far as hierarchy. He'll protect something that is weaker than him. Children, traditional women, submissive women, right? So when you're sitting there trying to figure out why these men don't protect us, because you have portrayed yourself as being stronger than them. Why would a man protect women that can kick his ass whenever they feel like it? This is why when brothers do get mad at y'all, they will fight you in the street the way they'll fight another grown man. Like you'll sit there and say, oh my God, I never see white men do that, because their women have never positioned themselves to be above them. Their women have never positioned themselves to be stronger than them. Same thing with Latin women, same thing with Asian women. They have never positioned themselves to be stronger than them. So those men understand the woman is weaker than them, so they have to protect them. It's the hierarchy thing. The reason you do not receive the protection that other groups of women receive from their men is because you are out of place on the hierarchy scale. You have placed yourself above your men. And that's the reason why they don't have a desire to protect you. They don't have a desire to take care of you. They don't have a desire to be the breadwinner. They don't have a desire to do any of that shit. They don't have a desire to protect you. They don't have a desire to provide for you. They don't even have a desire to stay with you and raise your children. You know why? Because you've been telling them for so damn long that you don't need them for none of that shit. You've been telling these men for my entire lifetime that you don't need them to protect you. You don't need them to provide for you. And you don't need them to raise your child. You can do it all by yourself. That's been your mantra forever. That's been your mantra for I don't know how long. So you sit back and you're trying to figure out, well, why is this going on? Because it's what you asked for. It's what you asked for. But again, the dynamic, the social dynamic, and look, I'm gonna tell you the only way that's gonna fix it. The only way that's gonna fix it is you're gonna have to submit to your men. You're gonna look, men have a mechanism in our brain, right? A man has a biological programming in his head. If he sees somebody that is weaker than him, that needs help, that thing in him kicks in to do it. Why would that ever kick in if you've been training your boys to believe that you're stronger than a man? Why would that kick in? It would never kick in. It'll never kick in. See, the funny thing about it is y'all will jump up here and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired of white women's tears. You know why white women's tears exist? Do you have any idea why white women's tears exist? White women's tears activate that thing in the man to protect them. Meanwhile, when it comes to y'all women in our culture, when it comes to black women, you don't want nobody to see you cry. You want to prove to everybody you're the toughest in the world. Somebody say something to you, you squaring up with people. Why would I need to protect a woman that can do this? Why? Why? Somebody attack a white woman out here right now. And men see that and like, hey man, leave her alone. Somebody come at y'all like, curse worse than grown men. Why would I need to protect somebody that looks like they're capable of whooping my ass? If I see my homeboy out there in the street, he square off with a dude, he got it. That's the same thing with y'all. Like you squaring up and shit. They're like, hey man, ain't you gonna help us? Shit. She look like she got it to me. He looked like he in trouble. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. If you're a woman and you want to be protected, provided for, cherished, right? I remember a while back, I had a conversation with a woman, and she said she wanted to be cherished. And I said, well, here's where the problem comes in. And this is a very specific problem when it comes to a lot of women in our culture, right? If you want to be cherished, you have to be a lily. You have to be a delicate flower. Okay? If you went to the store right now and you bought a lily, you're going to bring it home. When you put it in the car, you're going to take great care because you know how fragile it is. You know, not handling it properly could damage it. You bring it home, you water it, you sit it in the sunlight, you take great care in it because it's delicate, right? The problem is when it comes to the women in our culture, y'all act like cacti. You act like a cactus. Now, when it comes to a cactus, you buy a cactus that's in a pot, you ain't got to do much to it. You get in your car, you sit it over there, you ain't got to worry about it. You come home, you sit it wherever, you ain't got to worry about, do I need to put it in sunlight? Do I need to water it? You ain't got to worry about none of that shit. In fact, if you handle it too much, it's going to cause you damage. That's what y'all have become. The women in our community, not all of you, but there's quite a few of you, you have become prickly cacti. So even if a dude comes along that says, I don't care if this is a cactus, I'm still going to treat it like it's a delicate flower, he's wasting his fucking time. And sooner or later, he going to find himself sitting somewhere like this, pulling them little barbs out of his damn hand. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you want to enjoy the benefits of what a woman should enjoy, you have to stop being a cactus. You got to start being a delicate flower. Now this chick right here, when she pursued this man, she was pursuing the soft life. That's what she said. She said she wanted a soft life, right? You cannot run around here being hardcore to the penis and expecting a soft life. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I guarantee you, let me not say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it because I don't want y'all to think I'm justifying anything. But I'm willing to bet you any amount of money that when they got into that argument, well, let's just put it this way. I don't think she was all soft and bashful when they got into that argument. I hate to have to say that, but I guarantee you she was popping her shit. I guarantee you shit. And I'm not justifying nothing that still didn't give him the right to do whatever he did if he did it. I'm just pointing the shit out. I'm just pointing the shit out. But culturally, we have some differences. You feel me? Culturally, we have some differences. We have some fundamental differences. So, like I said, going back to it again, because I got to reiterate this shit. Black men treat every woman in their life like their mother. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Other groups of men treat every woman in their life like their daughter. I mean, just think about it. As a man, you got a daughter. Don't you want to protect her? Don't you want to provide for her? Don't you want the best in the world for her? Can you ever conceive of a reality where you would want to fight your daughter? No. No. If she gets an attitude, if your daughter gets an attitude about something, you don't even take it seriously. You're like, oh, she'll be all right. That's the way other groups of men treat all the women in their life. They treat their daughters that way. They treat their wives that way. They treat their mothers that way. They treat all. But the women in those groups are perfectly fine with that role. If this guy overlooks what you're doing the same way he overlooks what his daughter's doing when she get a little attitude, if he walks off because he don't want to hear the shit, his daughter ain't gonna follow him and jump up in his face and your punk ass, you ain't gonna do nothing. She's not gonna do all of that. She's not gonna do all of that. So even if brothers decided to stop treating all of the women in their life like their mothers, that's only one half of the equation. The other half of the equation, black woman, is you have to stop treating all the men in your life like they're your fucking sons. Do I need to say that again? Even if black men got over their mama complex and stopped treating every woman in their life like their mother, that's only half of the equation. The other half is y'all got to stop treating these dudes like they're your children. And I got news for you. Even if you have a son, eventually you're going to have to stop treating him like a child. All boys are supposed to outgrow their mothers. Daughters never outgrow their fathers. Which goes back to what I just got through saying about men treating all the women in their life like their daughters. When a woman marries a man, her father walks her down the aisle, and he gives her away to the groom. And what he's giving to the groom is the responsibility of taking care of her. So all of the responsibility he had as a father to his daughter, he now gives that to the groom. Now the groom has to take care of her. Now the groom has to make sure she's straight. And guess what? That's not the only time. That's not the only time. Because once that groom marries that woman, he now has the responsibilities that her father had. But guess what? If that married couple has a son, when that father gets older and he starts getting close to death, if he's going to end up dying before the mama, guess what he's doing even in that situation? He's passing the responsibility of his wife to his son. So now the son has to look after his mother because the father ain't there. And that's what I mean when I say women never outgrow their fathers. They never outgrow the concept of being protected and provided for. They never outgrow that shit. Men outgrow their mothers. They have to. Because if that boy didn't outgrow his mother, when his father passed away, who gonna look after his mama? How he gonna look after her if he still need her to look after him? Y'all get what I'm saying? Press 1 if y'all understand what I'm saying. Press 1 if y'all understand what I'm saying. Now, the problem with women like this one that just tragically lost her life, they didn't learn the importance of how to pick a suitable man. Picking a suitable man is never going to be about how much money he makes. It's never going to be about how many designer items he can buy you. It's never going to be about the trips he can take you on. It's never going to be about whether or not you can fly first class or private. It's never going to be about any of that shit. It is always going to be about his character. Period. It's always going to be about his character. It's always going to be about his character. Because here's the reality. Y'all saw this in the messed up thing is you got all of these people running around the internet talking about some, it doesn't make any sense. Why would she take her own life? If you look at, she was happy and look at her lifestyle, and everything that glitters ain't gold. And I'm not saying she took her life. Y'all already heard my theory. But one thing is for certain, everything that glitters ain't gold. You cannot look at her Instagram and be able to tell how happy she was. You can't. You can't look at that Instagram and be able to tell if they're a great couple or a horrible couple. You can't. And you know the reason why? How many times do you see people frowning in a photo? I grew up in the era where we had photo albums. You never saw sad pictures in a photo album. And Facebook, Instagram, all that shit is the highlight reel of your life. Because the only thing people post is the shit that makes them look good. The shit that makes them look happy. The shit that makes them look like they're living their best life. What did Drake say in that song? He said he knew a girl that would wait till she got home and post photos like she was still on the move. Well, what was the name of that song? Emotionless. Emotionless is the name of that song, right? In verse 2, he said, missing out on my years. There's times when I wish I was where I was back when I used to wish I was here, missing out on my days, scrolling through life and fishing for praise. Opinions from total strangers take me out of my ways. I try and see who's there on the other end of the shade. Most times it's just somebody that's underage, that's probably just alone and afraid and lashing out so that someone else can feel their pain. I always hear people complain about the place that they live, that all the people here are fake and they got nothing to give because they've been staring at somebody else's vision of shit. That makes another city seem more exciting than it is. I know a girl whose one goal was to visit Rome. Then she finally got to Rome and all she did was post pictures for people at home, because all that mattered was impressing everybody she's known. I know another girl that's crying out for help, but her latest caption is "Leave me alone." I know a girl happily married till she puts down her phone. I know a girl that saves pictures from places she's flown to post later and make it look like she's still on the go. Look at the way we live. I wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding the world from my kid, from empty souls who just wake up and look to debate until you staring at your seed you can never relate. Breaking news in my life, I don't run to the blogs. The only ones I want to tell are the ones I can call. They always ask, why let the story run if it's false? You know, a wise man once said, nothing at all. I'm exhausted and drained. I can't even pretend. All these people talking miles when you give all these people taking miles when you give them an inch. All these followers, but who gonna follow me to the end? I guess I'll make it to the end and I'm gonna find out then. Now, aside from the fact that that's an ill-ass verse, very, very introspective, right? And let's be real, there's so many people that ain't gonna give him credit for it, right? But that verse is fire, right? But that's what it is. When you go to her Instagram and you look, this is the highlight reel of her life. This is the highlight reel of her life. And if you're on the outside looking in, it looked like she's having the time of her life. My daughter has that bag, that Saint Laurent bag. But it looks like she's having the time of her life, except for this photo. Except for that photo right there. You can see it in her eyes. You can see it in her eyes right there. And look, I'm gonna say this. I'm not saying that she wasn't happy. Excuse me. I'm not saying that she took her life. I'm not saying that. However, she does not look happy in that photo. She doesn't look happy in that photo. She don't look happy in this one either. And look, that's one hell of a gamble to make. That's one hell of a gamble to make. If we being totally honest. If we being totally honest, that is one hell of a gamble to make. And she made it. She made that gamble, and we see the result. Shout out to my man Forever Studios for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you, broski.
That's that Bino energy.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do. All right, thumbs up. Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, that's one hell of a gamble to make. That's one hell of a gamble to make. And let's see if we got any updates on it. Where in the hell? Why is it not coming up? Okay, here we go.
More I'm listening to about what's coming out about Ashley Jana, the more I'm starting to realize that A, she really didn't know this man. She really didn't know him. B, nor did the parents. Which leads me to believe that she was only with this man for his money, and any red flags that she saw, she completely ignored them. Because, like I said, there had to have been red flags. She just ignored them. It's very much giving. She did not fucking know this man. And it's so scary to think that you're in another country and the man that you supposedly love is literally killing you. Literally fucking killing you. I think I lost the lash. Literally fucking killing you. Like, I'm so afraid of what she was probably seeing. Like, he probably, like, literally looked like a fucking demon. Like, he literally looks like one. Like, what the fuck?
You know there's a solution to that shit, right? You know there's literally a solution to that shit. Do y'all want to know what the solution is to this, to avoid shit like this? Not for her, because that's already happened. I'm talking about moving forward for women in the future. You know, you want to know what the solution is? Everything costs something. Everything. You never get something for nothing. Everything costs something. Everything. Right? And I'm gonna just be completely honest, right? Or better yet, press a 1 if y'all want me to be, if y'all want me to, what I'm about to say is gonna be, you know, there's gonna be a lot of people that's not really gonna like what I'm about to say, but press 1 if y'all want me to say it. A lot of these, a lot of shit can be avoided if these chicks would behave like grown women and not silly little girls. when I was growing up and I was a teenager and I would go out on dates with women, right? Every woman that I've ever known from the 90s era, you know what they would say? They would say whenever they go on dates, they would always bring enough money so that if something went wrong, they could pay for their own meal and have enough money to get back home, right? Nowadays, you have women, and I just showed y'all this on the video I recently did with Deshae Frost, where you got these guys that are influencers and they'll rent a yacht or rent a mansion or whatever, and they'll invite girls to come there. And the girls will come there and they'll be in their little skimpy bathing suit laid on the yacht or whatever and drinking champagne and just soaking up that lavish lifestyle. And then when the guy wants to have sex with them, they're like, wait a minute. Wait. See, even though I understand that if a guy invites you somewhere, spends a bunch of money on you, that does not entitle him to your sex. I get that. I completely understand that. But at the same time, you going there expecting to spend this guy's money, enjoy his lifestyle, and fulfill your fantasies of balling out of control, thinking that he's not going to want something in return, that makes you a silly little girl. That makes you silly as hell. And if my daughter were being lavished with all types of gifts and being taken on trips and shit like this from a dude she barely knows, the first thing I'm going to ask her is, with him doing all of this for you, what does he expect in return? Have you ever asked yourself that question, or have you already given it to him? Because here is the reality that I'm going to say to every last one of you women watching. Here's the reality. The reality is this. There are men in this world. Everything they do for you, the amount of money they spend on you, they keep a tally in their head. And all of the things that they do for you makes them feel that they own you. And the moment that you decide to prove to that guy that he doesn't, is when he's going to do some shit that you never thought possible. Now, I need you to keep in mind, I'm not talking about good men. I'm not talking about good guys. Not talking about dudes that are just normal guys that don't look at shit that way. I'm talking about the pricks of the world. I'm talking about the problematic men of the world. Because here's the thing, just because he has money and just because he's successful, that doesn't make him a good guy. Doesn't make him a good guy. Okay? There are guys out here. Look, I'm going to show y'all something. Watch this. Watch this, right? This person said, did he purchase her? Now watch this. I'm glad this person said that because I'm going to ask y'all a question. I'm going to ask y'all a question. I want you to think about this. How many times have y'all been on YouTube and you heard a guy say there's no difference between marriage and prostitution? How many times have you heard guys say that? How many times have you heard guys say that? How many times have you heard guys say you're going to pay for it regardless? All the time, right? You hear that all the time, right? You better side eye every single dude that you hear say that shit. If you're a woman, you better side eye every single dude that talks like that. Because any guy that says that cannot distinguish the difference between him spending his money because he's spending time with you and him purchasing you. Let me say that again. You want me to say that again? Any guy that talks like that, you need to look at them with the side eye. Because he cannot distinguish the difference between him spending his money while he's spending time with you and purchasing you. Because I can tell you like this, a man going on a date with a woman and spending $100 at the restaurant to eat is not the same as a man going to an escort and paying her $100 for her body. That's not the same. That's not the same. And I don't know how many times I have been on YouTube and I have had to argue men down that it's not the same. And they don't even realize why I'm saying this. When it comes to an escort or a woman you're dating, are you going to spend money regardless? Absolutely. But there's a fundamental difference. And the craziest thing they don't even realize is the fundamental difference ain't even between the women. It's the way you view them. That's the fundamental difference. The fundamental difference is the way you view those women. That's really what you should be focused on more than anything. Because even though those two women are drastically different, you got to be careful because that is a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope. Because you, as a man, you are going to find it very difficult to navigate the dating and mating world if you can't determine or you don't have enough discernment to know the difference between a lady and a whore. If you don't know how to distinguish between the two, ain't no need of you complaining about dating, mating, marriage, none of that shit. Ain't no need. Because you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to go back to the drawing board because you missed something along the way. You missed something along the way. And I saw somebody in there said women will say it, right? Women say the same thing, that you're going to pay for a woman regardless. Well, let me tell you something. If you ever hear a woman say that, that's a red flag. Because the same way a man is saying there ain't no difference between an escort and a regular woman because you paying regardless, the same way he thinks when he spends his money, he owns you. When a woman says it, that means she's selling herself. And you don't want a woman that's selling herself. You don't want to be in a relationship with a woman that's selling herself. Okay? Because that means she's only there for the money. That means she's only there for her benefit. That means she is emotionally detached from that situation. And anytime you're dealing with a woman that is emotionally detached from the relationship, you in trouble, because that's a woman's main function, is to be attached emotionally. If you with a woman that is emotionally detached from the relationship, you are in a dangerous place, my friend. So again, anytime you hear and to the ladies, women, stay away from men that think they can buy you. Unless that's what you do for a living, which is another thing too. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something that I find interesting. One day I was sitting on a panel, and there were a bunch of women. There were women up there, and they were talking about men cheating. They was talking about how much men cheat and whether men cheat or this, that, and the third. And you know what I was sitting there thinking? I didn't say it. I should have said it, but I didn't say it because, I didn't want to stir up no shit that day. I was kind of chilling. I was in relaxed mode. But you know what was running through my mind? I was thinking to myself, instead of talking about all of the men that are cheating, why don't we talk about all of these women that are selling a box and not telling the dudes that they dating that they're doing it? That's a thing. I guarantee you that's a thing. I guarantee you there are dudes out here right now that are dating women and they don't know these women are selling a box. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. So again, like I said, ladies, like, stop being silly little girls. Stop thinking that a man is just going to lavish you with gifts, give you whatever you want, and he's not going to want nothing in return. You're crazy if you think that. You're crazy. And look, you may come across a man that doesn't want anything in return, but as a rule of thumb, you should think that whenever a man gives you anything that ain't your husband, he definitely wants something for it. He definitely wants something for it. And you got to be careful, because if that guy indeed feels like he owns you, because like I said, I could only imagine what their conversation was. I mean, think about it. Look, here's the thing. Just because that guy's worth $43 million or whatever, that don't mean he don't keep track of what he's spending on somebody. He may have been like, look, I done spent all of this money to fly you out here, and and spent all of this money lavishing you, and then paid for all of this shit, and you gonna come out here and act goofy? Who you think you dealing with? I can only imagine how that conversation went. I can only imagine. Like real talk. But y'all know how it goes. That's what happens when you don't have a standard and you don't maintain a standard.
They told you to be nice. They told you to wait your turn. They lied. If you don't respect the man in the mirror, no one ever will. Stop looking for tips. Start looking for a standard. Your anger isn't a weakness. It's fuel. Burn it to build a better vessel. When you stop begging for attention, you start commanding it. Be the prize, not the option.
Reclaim your throne with the Angryman Standard. Now available at Amazon. Link in the description.
Make sure you guys go check out my book on my website, TheAngrymanChannel.com. You can grab your copy over there, or you can grab it off of Amazon. Either way, make sure you guys get your copy today. But with that being said, let's get to the super chat.
It's that time again. We going up. We going up.
It's time to read the super chats.
You know, we got to do the Binos first. Shout out to West Coast Creole, said dark-skinned female divestors absolutely gush at the thought of getting a white man and having biracial babies, especially if she has a little girl with long hair. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's bugged out. Like people shouldn't be picking people for arbitrary things like that.
That's that Bino energy.
Let's see. Shout out to Detroit Reed X, said donation for being back in the studio. Keep cooking, AM. Appreciate you, man.
That's that Bino energy.
Appreciate you. Let's see. Shout out to Lamontre. Appreciate you, fam. Shout out to D Murray. He said, thanks for tonight's show. Appreciate y'all for contributing. Let's see. Shout out to IMP. He says, salute to the light-skinned God AM. Bring the truth. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Dark Power in the building as always. Shout out to Red Lipstick Vibes. Appreciate you. Let's see. Who else we got? Shout out to Omar. He said, giving you your cigars because you the man, Trust Gang. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Drew Dini. Appreciate you. Let's see who else we got. Shout out to Elder Green Cobra, said supporting the show. Shout out to Heems Cast Game and said another banger. Let's get it, AM. Shout out to Victor Bester. Appreciate you. Shout out to Jay Hayes. Appreciate you. Shout out to Ari Nicole. Ari said, been missing my Bino family so much. Hope everything is good. Definitely is. Appreciate you. Shout out to Jay Hayes again. Shout out to Victor. Victor said, didn't know it was 20. Here's the rest. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and give you the sound effect for that.
That's that Bino energy.
Appreciate that, broski. Let's see. Shout out to Jay Hayes, said, can you tell me the name of the song? Call Me a Pick Me. That's the name, Pick Me. You were playing at the beginning of the show, please. Appreciate you. See, shout out to Terenzo. Said, for those that understand psychological warfare, yes, What happened to her is unfortunate, yet men will not celebrate her death like we've watched men's deaths be celebrated by females. That's a fact. That's a fact. They definitely celebrated. Look, they were so mad at Kobe for being with a Latin woman that when he passed away, they was actually celebrating that mess. It was actually celebrating. I remember that. They celebrated when Kevin Samuels passed away. Shout out to Terenzo, said bluntly, Gen Xing speaking, they don't want to admit they are wrong and need to hold themselves accountable for their choices and decisions. That's a fact. That is a fact. Shout out to Mr. FCG Production, said men respect value and we protect that as well. Yep. Shout out to Vince X, said in his eyes, she was property, life insurance. Shout out to Brandon. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the show. I appreciate y'all. But we about to wrap it up. We about to get up out of here, man. Salute to everybody that came through and contributed to the show. It is greatly appreciated. And we're going to keep covering this as it continues to unfold and see what else happens. But with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here and I'm going to holler at you guys on the flip side. Deuces.
The session is closed. The board is dismissed.
I gave you the blueprint, now go build a state. Stop arguing with broke, man, stop debating with fate. We don't negotiate value, we dictate the price. You watch the show for free, I just gave you a slice. But the real ones know where the equity lives. We taking everything, we got nothing to give. The manual is waiting, you know where it's at. This ain't a gamble, it's a guaranteed bet.
We'll protect lead, go and plant the seed. We'll protect lead, that's the code we need. Go to the side, yeah, secure the command. The Angryman Channel, the standard of the land.
TheAngrymanChannel.com.
Get the shirt, get the book.
Start watching, start working. We up.
The session is closed. The board is dismissed.